you're from Louisville, Texas. You started in the NAHL in Amarillo, moved to Moon Township, Newfoundland, Toronto, and now you're finally over in Sweden. Just how did that happen? Like, just walk me through, sort of your brief career so far.
Yeah, it took a long time. And I think it was, I didn't really think about the future too much, probably until my senior year at Robert Morris. But when I first got to the Bulls in the Null, I was 17, so I was still pretty young, and I was in my senior year of high school. So I was just kind of more worried about getting my my high school degree and just playing hockey for fun. And then came along Mark Workman from RMU, and then Derek Schooley. And then they offered me a scholarship. I accepted it, and then after another year of juniors, I went to school in Moon Township, and after a great 4 years on and off the ice, some of the best memories I've had playing hockey, and some of my closest friends are from school. So it was a great time there. And then, after a couple successful seasons, my junior and senior year, I started talking to some NHL teams, and it worked out with Toronto. They offered me a deal to go to the American League with the Marlies. And after that, so after my senior year, I went and played a couple games the year they won it. But then got the summer off. I went back to Leafs camp and ended up with the Newfoundland Growlers, which was probably at first wasn't something I was happy about, but at the end of the day, it worked out, and it was somewhere where I developed and learned a lot about myself as a player and as a person. And those again were another 2 years that I don't regret at all. They're unbelievable. So, like some of the most fun I've had playing hockey. It was an unbelievable culture again, I've never heard of Newfoundland. I've always heard of Toronto, but never knew the province of Newfoundland. And it was unbelievable. It was a great time, amazing culture. And then the second year was kind of weird just with COVID. We had another great team again. Toronto had recruited a lot of good players from college and juniors, and we had a lot of returners. So we were destined for a nice playoff run. And then COVID happened. So it was pretty weird. It kind of sucked. And, I was driving home like the next day, it was pretty unfortunate. But then honestly, that summer was really weird because I didn't have a contract the next year. I didn't even know if I was going to be playing hockey anymore. I had my degree from Robert Morris, so I kind of started looking at jobs. I didn't really know if I was going to play anymore. And then I was lucky enough to kind of hear from a few European teams, and Chris Abbott and Cam Abbott called from Rogla. And it just seemed to have a mutual fit, and we kind of gelled on the phone, and it worked out that I was going to come to Sweden. And the SHL is, before coming here, I didn't really know much about it because I was, more focused on trying to make the American League and, work my way up. And then coming to the SHL, it's probably one of the best leagues in the world. It's probably pretty comparable to the American League, if not better. That's what some people say. It's a different game. It's a little faster than the American League, but the American League is probably a bit more physical and, translates to the NHL a bit more. But a lot of guys from the SHL and the second league in Sweden go right over to the NHL and, perform just as good as anyone. So, it was a huge adjustment for myself coming over here at first. And then, I found a role on this team, and we had a really good first year. We had an unbelievable team. I got to play with some some crazy good talented guys. So it was pretty cool experience, and unfortunately we lost in the finals, but again, it was so good, a pretty cool experience. But this year started off pretty strong for our team. We've got to play in the CHL this year. We went to Germany, Switzerland, and now I think we're going back to Switzerland for the next round. But and this summer, my wife and I had a baby, so that was
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. It was that's probably one of the coolest things that I've ever experienced. So and he's about 4 months now, so it's pretty cool. He got to go to his first hockey game a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it was pretty emotional just because he was there and because it was my first time playing in front of our fans, and that atmosphere was it was pretty comparable. I went to the Penguins, I think game 4 or something against Nashville, and they won 6-0, and it was pretty comparable to that crowd. It was insane. So it was a pretty cool experience.
And then you mentioned the CHL Champions Hockey League, but for those that don't really know, it's not something that we really get on our TVs over here. So what sort of like put it into layman's terms for people that don't really understand what it is?
Um, so I got into soccer a little bit ever since I moved here because I can't really watch anything else. But it's like the Champions League with soccer, where it's the best teams in all the European leagues, except the KHL is not in it. But the best teams in all the other European leagues play in this tournament. So I'm not really sure what it started out with. It might have been like 60 something teams, possibly. I'm not sure. And you play, you play your round. You play each team twice, home and away, and then 2 teams from your seed, your group, move on to the quarterfinals, and then semis and finals, and then the next few rounds it works like so we play a team from Switzerland, and we play one home, one away, and I'm not sure what the word is for it, but they use the scores of each game and they combine them. So you could lose the first game, 4-0, and win the next game 2-0, and you would lose because the other team scored 4 goals and you only scored 2. And I could be wrong, but I think home and away, like away goals mean more than home goals. I don't know if that's if they still have that rule, but essentially you're trying to be the best team in Europe.
And then going back to your sort of journey, what's been the biggest like culture shock for you coming from United States to Sweden?
Oh man, I guess at first it was I kind of felt like a tourist. My wife and I were visiting Copenhagen. We're pretty close to Copenhagen, so the first month we were training with the team, and then right afterwards we live in like a beach town during the summer. We're like 5-minute walk from the beach, so we were going to the beach, going to Copenhagen, there's a city called Helsingborg pretty close to us, and so we felt like a tourist for about a month, and then it kind of sunk in, and that we were officially moved here. And I guess it was just the language barrier, but everyone here speaks amazing English. But if you go sit at a restaurant, I guess you can't eavesdrop on anyone else's conversation because you have no idea what they're saying. But it was a quick adjustment for us. But I think the language barrier and the culture is pretty similar to the States, but probably a little bit more slowed down.
Okay.
Not everyone's in a huge rush, so I've kind of appreciated the little things a bit more than I would have a couple years ago. But it's a great lifestyle. Definitely miss home. All of our friends and family are back there. So, but it's a nice place to live.
And you mentioned, the restaurant sort of thing. Are there any, Swedish foods that you've really grown to like that that we can't get over here, or anything over here that you're really missing to get a bite to eat?
If anything, I'm missing food from back home for sure. I'm a huge Tex-Mex guy, like Mexican food, and they don't have a lot of that here. But yeah, I've tried. They have a lot of seafood here, so I've tried. Just quite a bit of seafood, but they have this traditional like herring, but I haven't tried that. I haven't ventured off into that yet, but I think I have to before I leave. But I guess they have a lot of candy on Saturdays. It's like they call them goodies, and if you have a family, that's like the day to have candy with your family and stuff like that. But if anything, I miss the food from back home. The food here is good, but definitely missing a nice steak from Texas, or something like that, some good barbecue.
And you mentioned your friends and family, but there's also another RMU player playing in Sweden right now. JC Gebhard's playing over in Brynäs. I know it's 7 hours away, but did you ever get a chance to, go meet up with her at some point yet, or is that a
Yeah,
bit
so
hard?
we ran into each other last year. I think we both had games in Brennus at the time, and I saw her while I think I was warming up, and she was going to warm up, so we chatted for a bit. But it's tough. They have their schedule, and we have ours, so we're kind of all over the place. But I know she's doing an amazing job there, and they're I think top of the league every year in that league. So I think that's pretty cool that there's two RMU alums playing in the best league in Sweden.
And then going back to your RMU days, uh, you know, 4 seasons here, two regular season championships, but you just couldn't get over that hump and win the playoffs. What sort of not really went wrong, but just I guess went wrong is probably the best terminology for it. Just why couldn't you guys get over that hump?
Yeah, I mean that's tough. That's probably one of you know the biggest, not regrets, but disappointments of my career. But also, I think looking back on it, it's taught me so much about myself, and like what I could focus on better down the road on, and stuff like that. But uh, I don't know. It was tough. Like we had such amazing teams, and our coaching staff always did a good job of putting a good team together. And fortunately, we just couldn't finish the job in the finals or the semis. But I don't know if there was one little thing. I'm sure we battled as hard as we could, and unfortunately, just didn't come out on top in those final games. But I think those are memories still that are pretty positive in my head. Unfortunately, we didn't lose or we didn't win, but at the end of the day, there's got to be a loser and a winner. And I still remember, crying in the locker room with the guys after those losses, and it sucks, but it's an important life lesson. I'm sure all of us still have with us. So.
And if you right now could go back and talk to yourself, just entering the null with Amarillo, what would you say to yourself?
Oh, and enjoy all the little things, all the small moments that they go by pretty fast. But I guess go have a. I guess I wasn't old enough then, but go have a beer after a game with your teammates, and but not then because I wasn't old enough, I guess. But just relax. It's just a game. Um, and you're playing a sport for fun, and it's gonna take it where you need to, and I got a great degree from Robert Morris. If I wanted to stop playing hockey, I could and go get a job, or I can go move to Sweden and keep playing.
And then final question, obviously this has been a hectic summer for RMU. Just what are your thoughts on, what happened with the programs?
Yeah, I mean, it was, I mean, obviously I'm pretty disappointed. It was out of nowhere. I'm just really sad for the coaching staff that was there, and all the players before me and after me. Because it's really hard to get an NCAA scholarship to go play for any university. So those guys work their asses off to get there, and I think RMU kind of did a poor job of announcing it out of nowhere. If anything, they should have gave them, because I know there was a big transfer window because of COVID. They should have told them 3 months before, and maybe gave them a fighting chance to raise some money. Or, but yeah, it was definitely disappointing. But I really hope they come back, because I would love to bring my son to a game, have a nice reunion with some old teammates and friends from RMU, and be able to watch a hockey game, because I know we took a lot of pride in wearing that logo, and showing up to school, and doing our jobs in the classroom, and doing our jobs on the ice as well. I still remember I stayed most of my summers in Pittsburgh, and I worked the hockey camps, the Army Hockey Academy with teammates over the summer, and I'm still in contact with some of the parents and kids from those camps. So I know the women's team and our team do a great job with the community, and I know how big hockey is in Pittsburgh. So it's a huge disappointment, but I hope Dr. Howard can kind of see the importance in having a Division I team in your university, and I think it's a huge benefit. I mean, like, you got guys all over the world and girls all over the world playing the sport, and growing the game. And we just had, I know, what's his name, Furman.
Mhm.
He's a full-time NHL ref in the NHL, and then you got I'm drawing a blank on her name.
Kirsten, she's doing
Yep,
OHL games.
she's doing OHL games. Like, so I can guarantee you she'll be roughing in the NHL in no time. So it's just crazy to me that it's canceled. It was a blind side for sure, but I know I've talked to a bunch of players from the past that everyone's extremely disappointed, but we're just kind of moving on and looking forward, because I believe that it's going to come back, and I think Dr. Howard will see the importance in having a program.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Brady. Good luck the rest of the year, both in the SHL, CHL, and with your new family. So, congratulations again on that, and good luck rest of the season.
Thanks, Jonathan.